Okay, put a split on this, 10:30 Friday night.
Mikel,
Yeah.
it seemed a few weeks ago that Granit was pretty determined to leave, and his agent said as much. Obviously that situation has changed now. Can you just explain what message you gave to him to change his mind, really?
The first message for him was I wanted to understand how he was feeling and why he was feeling that way. I wanted to hear from me my opinion on him, and that I was ready to support him. I was ready to push the club to be supportive with him too, because I thought that he could be a really, really good player for us, and he could enjoy in this football club playing under me. And I tried to convince him that way. He thought about it. He had a very positive response afterwards, and I think he changed his mind.
Can I ask about David Luiz? Because everyone's noticed a big improvement in the few games that you've been in charge. He seems to have really sort of stepped up and taken on the sort of leadership role. Is that something you've actively worked on with him?
Yes, that's what I wanted to demand to him. He's a player that has won more trophies than anybody else in that dressing room, and we have to use that in a very powerful way. I wanted him to step up. I wanted him to put all the qualities, his personality and his experience towards the team, and he made a big step forward. I'm very, very pleased with him.
He seems to be really sort of committed as well, which in the past at Chelsea there's been times when he's been up and times when he's been down. Is it the case of becoming more consistent at a later stage of his career?
I hope so. The games that he's played under me so far has been terrific. His attitude in training, the way he communicates with his teammates, his desire to still learn, it's superb. So I'm delighted with him.
Mikel, can I ask about Dani Ceballos? He's obviously back fit again now. He's been on the bench last couple of games. Given that he's going to go back to Madrid, it seems, in the summer, how highly does he feature in your plans over these next few months, and what sort of role do you see Dani playing for you?
Now he's getting much closer to fitness levels that I expect from him to be competing with his teammates. Obviously, he had a long-term injury. He had an adaptation to this league. I know him really well from Spain. I watch him many, many times. He's a player that can fit our style, and now he needs to make a step forward and put things difficult for me, for my selection, because I think now he's ready to step in.
When you say he fits your style, no one's really known what his best position is. Is it in the midfield too? Is it higher up as number 10? What do you see him best as?
I like him more when he's closer to the box rather than always coming deep to receive that ball. Defensively, he can play in a 2 rather than as a number 10. I don't really see him as a isolating number 10 playing with 2 holding midfielders. He's a very creative player. He's a player in the final third can cause problems. He always wants the ball. He has big personality to play, so I like him.
Mikel, have you been working directly with David at the back or the back four?
Yeah.
You work directly with him?
Yeah. We have to, because I have to set my principles and what I expect from them in every situation on the pitch, which might be a little bit different what they did with other managers. So positionally, they have to understand what I expect from them.
I mean, because obviously over time the defence has been criticised over quite a number of years here. What are the type of things you'll be doing with them with David that kind of gives them a better shape and get a better positioning?
Different type of drills where they are facing the ball when the ball is far from them. Situation where they have to defend transition, when they are overloaded, when they're in equal numbers, when the ball is with fullbacks, what I expect from them, where I want the line in relation to the ball, not just the opponent. A few things that for us are important.
Is it a case of getting them to almost concentrate? Because there seems to be, in the past, individual lapses just for a split second. They've been happening over and over again, which don't appear to have happened so much recently.
Yeah, for me, the most helpful thing for that is communication. If you are constantly communicating with your teammates around you, makes you stay focused on what is happening all the time. When you don't talk to each other, there are always moments or gaps where your focus can go, and the back four cannot have those moments.
Mikel, there was Pep Guardiola was asked the other day again about tactical fouls, and he told the journalists to travel to London and ask you about them. So I just wondered if that is part of your game. Oh no, because obviously the Amazon documentary showed a clip of you talking about the need for those fouls, maybe the transition and everything. Is that just? It's just a way of almost like boxing.
It was the wrong clip on Amazon. I will ask the journalist to go back to Manchester and ask the same question again.
Mikel, just wanted to touch on Tyrese John Jules. Obviously, he was on the bench a couple of times under you. How close were you to using him? How close were you to using him in those games?
The other night, this close, because I've been very impressed with what I've seen of him in training. I really like him. And I think it was for the last minutes the other day, it was a perfect fit. We ended up making a different decision. But I considered it and I asked him to be on the bench for that day because I really believe that he can have an impact on the pitch.
Yeah. Would you see him going out on loan for the rest of the season then and kicking on as a starter for wherever he's at?
Well, I think he's got a good chance. If he needs to go and prove himself now and he needs to challenge himself, he's probably a very comfortable environment here, but he needs to get exposed, and after that we'll see where he is.
And in the under-23s, I've seen him play as a number 10 at some times. Is that something you'd encourage him to do as well as just being a number 9 going for goals?
He can do everything. He links really well on the ball every time he's out of the number 9 position. He's got a really good ability to do that. He reads situation earlier than others, and he's a good finisher as well. And physically, he's developed in a really good shape. So I think he's a very complete player.
Mikel,
Go Nick, then Paul.
You said on Monday that you weren't happy at half time, and I think Alex Lacazette said afterwards that you shouted a bit and stuff like that. We know that you're learning a lot about your players at the moment, but did they learn something about you on Monday?
Well, probably they've seen something different, a different reaction from me. It's a process both ways, I think. But yes, probably a few maybe were a little bit surprised, but I was surprised too the first half.
Would you react like that every time, or would it depend on the individual?
I don't know. I think we have to react naturally depending on the situation and the context.
You seem very sort of calm and mild-mannered, but clearly there is another side to you which, if you need to sort of deliver the hairdryer.
I love winning. I can only work to win, and this is what this club deserves. And I want to be the best. I want excellence in all my players and everybody in the organization. So I will fight for that. You know, if we don't reach it after because we're not good enough, it's okay. But how we have to behave ourselves and how we have to try, at least is with that aim.
Paul Kelly, surprised that there's been so much animosity this season between fans and players here. We've had the thing with Xhaka, and there was also a moment in the game with Socrates and the fans at the weekend. Is that something you feel you need to prepare still?
No, I think it's very common now, and every club has its own issues. Sometimes things come within the club, sometimes come things from media, sometimes, I don't know, from social media. It's difficult, very difficult nowadays to have a one full year where everything is so smooth. In a few months nobody remembers those issues.
But not good, presumably, when you have players responding to stuff in the stand.
Of course it's not good, it's not ideal, and it creates an instability in this situation. So as much as we can avoid them, obviously the better.
Mikel, just on Eddie and Emil, would you prefer them to maybe go to Premier League clubs or Championship clubs?
I always suggest that when you go on loan, speak to the manager and make sure he really wants you, and he has to tell you exactly what he's expecting from you. If that's the case and he convinces you and you believe that is the right move for you, you have to go and prove yourself. So I'm not too concerned about if it's Premier League, Championship, if he's here or there. Is more the overall fit, you know, and the communication between clubs, that is clear what we are trying for that player to develop in the phase that he's at the moment, and that a player is comfortable and he can see really the path that is the right one for him.
James?
I know you weren't here at the time, but there was a lot of speculation that Zaha was going to come here. It seemed like it came quite close. Do you have to be wary of facing a player like that in these circumstances, that he might be especially motivated or have a point to prove to the club that he nearly joined?
I always see Wolf very motivated against big teams. You know, he's always ready to make an impact, and he always creates situations against big teams. I think he doesn't need that. I think he had attention from the media and everybody. I think realizes how good he's been. So I don't expect anything different against us.
You don't think he might be a little bit more dangerous, particularly in January as well? There's more speculation about moving to another club.
I always find him dangerous. The last few times we played when I wasn't here, exactly the same. And when he played against Arsenal recently, always been a threat.
Thanks all.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just